Okay. Note to self, make sure you are really ready before going live. And make sure your titles are set properly before going live. And they don't reflect the wrong show title before going live. Because it is a pain in the butt cleaning up your mess. But anyway, so here we are for another edition of Early Morning Music and Coffee with your host, Keith Ritchie. So, good morning if you're actually watching live. It's not too early this time, 6:30 a.m. my time. So, might have a few people actually show up actually live this time, but we'll see. So yesterday I posted a video to a video I did early part of 2020 for a song I actually did in 2005. Originally did in 2005. And and the title of the video and the song is Sol Invictus. And this morning I was working on updating my mail flow for my mailing list to include a bit of story about that. So one thing I definitely want to tell you is you should, if you are not, definitely you should sign up for my mailing list. And it's really easy to do. Just simply go to music.kritchie.com and scroll down to the bottom of the page. You'll see a field there to enter your email address. Click the button, sign up, and you can read a little bit about that story if you don't know anything about it. But the other cool thing about that is in the welcome email that you get from me, there's always a link to an unreleased song that I give everybody when you sign up to my mailing list. So that's always a good thing. So I always try to make sure that I give you something for signing up, for to show my gratitude for that. So be sure to do that. I'll wait. Feel free to go do that. Just go to music.kritchie.com, KRICHIE.com. I'll make sure I include that here in the stream. That's probably what I should do right now while I'm thinking about it. You know, let me just go ahead and do that. Paste that out here in the YouTubes and stuffs. And where am I at? Get it on here on the comments in the Facebooks. Bear with me here. And that's there. Okay, that's there. And where am I at? Oh, okay. Oh wow, that went to the Facebook page that time from the restream chat. That's awesome. So but anyway, be sure you sign up for that mailing list. You'll get the free song download for unreleased songs. And in that mail flow, you'll hear more about Sol Invictus and a link to the video that I did. But it was a song that I originally wrote in, I want to say 2005, I think is when I wrote it. And it was based on, I got inspired by a book that I read that was written by David Sobel. And it was a book, it was an interesting book that was part poetry, part astronomy, part science. It's just an really interesting read. And it was based on our solar system. And it inspired me to write some songs based on each planetary body in the solar system. And it leads off with a song about our sun. So And in doing that yesterday and working on that email update this morning, I thought, because I keep kind of going back to it and updating, trying to update those tracks to getting it ready for a future release. It kind of inspired me a little bit to reopen those tunes and work on them a little bit. So what I figured I'd do first is kind of show you the project file for Sol Invictus as it stands right now. There's going to be some other little tweaks before it finally gets finalized at some point in the future, before it's released on whatever I actually call the album in the future. It's gone through a few different permutations. I'm not really sure what it's going to be called when it finally gets released. Back in 2005, 2008, I think when it finally got released at its form back then, it was called something else. You'll see that in the email. In that, if you sign up for the mailing list, you'll see what it was called back then. It's not going to be called that this time, and I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be called in the future. There's a couple of different things we're tossing around, and actually what packaging it's going to look like. It may release as an album standalone or as in a collection of albums. And I'll go into more detail about that as time progresses and once we figure that out. But going off on a tangent here. But so what I figured I'd do is I'd kind of let that play here and kind of talk about this massive project here. As you can see, I've got like 27 different tracks in this one project, this one song alone, right? That kind of makes up Sol Invictus. And then the next track after this is a song that I wrote for Mercury. And originally I called it Thief in the Night. And it's kind of I don't want to say it's a mess, but it is. Right? It's not, but it is. But Sol Invictus has definitely evolved in the last 15 years from what it was. It wasn't a horrible track back then, but it's definitely a lot better than what it was. So let me just kind of play this through. You'll hear it in the video, obviously, a lot better if you go sign up and get to that point in the mail flow. But let me kind of give this a playthrough. Let you kind of see how it progresses through. You'll see that I'm using a couple of instances of Arturia's CS80 emulator, which is kind of cool. Actually, while this plays, I'm going to get coffee. I'll be right back. And I think you can kind of see from this, I use quite a bit of different layers to get the sound that I want, especially on this track. And it's evolved quite a bit over time, and I'm quite satisfied with the sound of this one. But the rest of there's 2 or 3 tracks on this album as it's progressed that I'm pretty satisfied with, but a lot of the other ones need a lot more work. So hopefully the audio is okay. The mastered version of that's definitely a lot better. From what it looks like there might be about 5 people watching the stream on my Facebook page. So if you are, definitely, let me know. Let me know in the comments if the audio is coming out okay. Looks like there might be a Mary Gunther watching. Hi, Mary. So again, sign up for that newsletter if you haven't already, music.kritchie.com. And what I'm going to do now is let me go load up the next track that would follow suit. Let's see here. And I'm going to tell you, the next one is fairly crude, if I remember right. So don't be too alarmed. I gotta figure out where it's at. That's step number 1. Where was it? In my whip bin. What did I call it? Oh, there it is. And will it even open? Will it blend? A couple of things won't open here. That's okay, because I don't think I wanted those things in there. It's actually been a really long time. Oh, no, I think I do want those things to. Give me a second while I try to find something here. Says in the right place. All right, let me reopen it here. Okay, so got that open. Now again, this is pretty raw stuff, so I don't know what it's going to sound like. It may be horrible. So close this out. So bear with me, okay? It's a work in progress. And I think this started going somewhere I didn't necessarily like. I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to come back to that one. I don't think that one's ready for prime time yet, so you guys are going to have to wait on that one. But let's see. There were definitely some other things that I had worked on. Oh, here we go. So again, these were based on after I had read The Planets by Davis Sobel. Here's one that I know I had made a lot of good updates on. At least that's what I thought. This was last time I touched these were back in April of 2020. This was a song that I had done for Jupiter. Let's see where we stood on this one. If I remember correctly, I may have been kind of dissatisfied with the trumpets, I think, is the problem that I had on this, but let's see. So this one, the interesting thing about this particular song is that it is almost purely orchestral sounds. There's no synthy pieces or anything like that. It's all hybrid orchestra. Not hybrid orchestra, but I mean virtual orchestra sounds. And the problem that I'm having with it is that I'm using the Symphony series from Native Instruments, and they're not horrible sounding, but I'm not getting the sound that I want from it. They're not horrible, but they're not the greatest. So I'm probably going to be either trying to see what I can do to get a better sound with what I got, or replacing those with a different symphony library pack. And, you know, it still needs quite a bit of work. The trumpets, the attack on them is not where I want. The brass is not where I want. The strings need some work. The oboes are not what I want. The harps are not what I want. But the melody is what I want. So that's going to require a bit of work. At the beginning, the sonar pad that's going, you'll see that down at the bottom. That particular sound carries through the entire album because that's a distinct element that I want there that also follows along with some other things that I'm doing. And that ties it all together, and there's a reason for that, right? So that's why that's there. And that's the only thing that really kind of ties that particular song with the rest of the album. But I want to be careful too, because I don't want this whole album to be this kind of space music type thing, and then you have this one piece that is only orchestral outside of everything else. So I got to be really careful with that so it doesn't sound completely out of place, because that was one of the problems that I had before. But I really like that piece, and I want it to be this kind of majestic thing, because it's about Jupiter, the largest planet in our system, and I want it to have that grand sound. That's one of the reasons why it's called Optimus Maximus. It's this, you know, the central piece to the album, you know, on this grand scale. So I'm trying to figure that out, you know, but I'll figure it out. Let me load up. Let me see where I'm at with another one from that piece. Kind of give you a sample of that. Bear with me here. But I did want to kind of come on this morning since I put out Sol Invictus out there, and you can kind of see what that's pretty much a finished song. And at some point, you know, that stuff is going to be released. Let's see here. I wonder if let's see if this one I did for Venus. See where it's at. I may start playing it and then go stop and go like, oh no. But we'll see. We shall see. Uh-oh. Let me fix this real quick. some of the stuff I haven't opened in ages, and I've moved some things around, so this won't take a minute. Well, thought it wouldn't take a minute. Still under a minute. I can do this. I'm at 40 seconds. I have 20 seconds. I can do it. I have the technology. Uh-oh. We may have a problem. All right, let's see. Let's see if this works. Oh. It's working. So a lot of these have a lot of work left to do in them, and that has more of that hybrid sort of orchestral and synth sound to it, which is what ultimately I was going for throughout the album, except for the song for Jupiter. So, but I think you kind of see what I'm going for when all of these things come together. But still, a lot of work to go on them, and but I figured I'd jump on and talk a little bit about that project and where it's going. But I think that's going to be it for this morning's edition of Early Morning Music and Coffee. So I know it's kind of weird. All you really see is me, and you see my screens, but you don't really see me, my kind of workstation here. And I'm actually going to do some improvements over the next month or two. I've got a new desk coming to kind of rework my workstation here. I'm going to put up a couple of cameras, so you've got a camera on me. You also have a camera kind of looking down at the new desk, the new layout. So when I'm working on music, which I plan on doing some sessions, you'll see me while I'm working on composing and working on some of these tracks. So I'll have a camera that's kind of looking down on here. So be sure to sign up for the mailing list. Once again, go to music.krichie.com, KRICHIE.com. Just go down to the bottom, put in your email address, click that sign up button. You'll get a download of an unreleased song. That's bonus number 1, right? Bonus number 2 is you'll be one of the first to know when I've got new material coming out. Obviously, I've got ambient highways releasing on vinyl. Hey, vinyl's big resurging right now, and that releases on April the 12th. Pre-orders right now. And obviously, you'll be one of the first to know when this material here is going to be heading your way. And you'll just be part of the club. You'll be the first to know on when all this new material is coming out. So be sure to go do that today. And we will talk to you guys next time. All right? Take care.